Right, folks, how are we all? I'm going to try and do a little bit less swearing in this video because I think new people might be watching this. You people out there have enjoyed mine and June's Asda Just Essentials, the shop round the video, the video around the shop, and the actual cooking, our carry-on cooking spaghetti bolognese. Now, can I just point out, please, that these videos, these carry-on cooking videos, are for people who are on a tight budget, very little money. I'm just watching somebody in a transit van trying to reverse into a parking space and making a complete mess of it. Awful. So these are to try and help people put exciting food, or some kind of exciting food, on the table for the family to eat. It's not authentic. The spaghetti bolognese we did was not authentic. We didn't try to make it authentic. It was never going to be. It was food just cooked to try and make it interesting. We're trying to do fresh food at a really cheap price that's not full of preservatives like the ready meals that you get are. It's just about trying to do a bit of shopping, buying fresh stuff, cooking it and getting as much out of it as possible. That's all. We're not trying to be clever, smart, authentic food. We're just trying to give people ideas to cook food that's not a ready meal. Okay? Right, I'm going in Asda. I'm going to get some more. So I only need one stick of that, but there you go. 3 chicken breasts, should be 4. Carrots, rice, there you go. Right, folks, so if this video has gone to plan, you have just seen me buy some stuff of Asda Essentials. Now,
and he didn't take me up the Asda again.
I didn't take her up the Asda, but what has happened is I'm cooking in my t-shirt and my pants. It's got to be done, isn't it? It's too hot. So what has happened is we've done all the prepping for this budget meal, folks. It's not going to be gastric, not gastric. Where is it? Gastro, I don't know. This is just a chicken fricassee, isn't it? Were you laughing at me for?
June, cordon bleu, did you mean?
Cordon bleu. Well, what's gastro?
Enteritis, squid.
All right, I've had that and all. So what it is, Junie Baby's going to talk us through the ingredients.
Right, okay then, we've got 150 grams of rice cooked, so that's the dry weight, and then you cook it, you allow it to go cold. It's a good way to use up leftover rice. If you're anything like me, you always cook too much rice, because I don't weigh it, I just guess. 1 large onion diced, 2 carrots diced, or 1 large one, a stick of celery diced, 2 ounces of peas, 2 ounces of tinned sweet corn. You can use frozen. And this is 3 chicken fillets that we've diced up. Let's go in it.
I've diced
already.
That. Yeah. So now what then?
Well, we've got to fry the onion off. So you want a big pan. I've had to get my recipe book out. Oops, wrong ring. Because I couldn't quite remember. Excuse me. The recipe, believe it or not. So
We've not had chicken fricassee. Yeah, we've not had chicken.
Oh, I love one. No, we do like it. Oh, and you also need a ½ pint of water and a vegetable stock.
½ pound of tuppenny rice.
So fry your onion.
Excuse me.
And your carrots and your celery. So all you should be left with there is your peas and your sweet corn.
So like we say, folks, this is just a budget meal. This is to try and get people to be eating more healthily for cheaper. Because obviously at the end of this, the idea of this video, folks, is to guess the amount of money this has cost us to feed.
And here's the hint, it's slightly more expensive.
Slightly more expensive than the spag bowl.
Bit of salt in there, it just stops the onions browning and burning.
Now, people have been leaving comments on the spaghetti bolognese one, of how they would do it and all that, and that is it's
great.
Yeah,
it's great. Lots of tips there.
Yeah, all for different things to do.
We must reiterate that This is not intended to be a cordon bleu cookery course. It's just feeding the family.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, somebody mentioned that it's not authentic Italian, the spaghetti bolognese we did. We know it's not authentic. This is just about giving people ideas to feed the family with fresh.
I don't know what's happened to the lid of that. It's gone a bit
weird. That ain't going to fit
that's
on there.
not the right lid for a start off. Who's had my lid? Oh, it's this one. So you put a little bit of salt in there, stop the onions down, you put the lid on, and then you turn it right down and leave it there just to soften for 10 minutes. I've used this pan because when I did the spaghetti bolognese I hadn't got a lid for it.
Now somebody will probably say they should have fried the chicken first and everything like that. We're just following the recipe that we've done for years and years. So
this is, can I just say, this is probably a good one if you've got kids, because it's not something that will knock your socks off flavour wise. It's more of a comfort food. It's a bit of a what they call nursery food, isn't it? But
it is.
Love it.
I can remember having this at school, and my granny, she used to cook it as well. So
yeah, and it is. It's lovely. I mean, you can pep it up. You could perhaps put a bit of, I don't know, paprika in it or something, or even chilli.
The idea is that you cook it as cheap as you can with as fresh. Get that dog down. The dog's got an obsession with tea towels at the moment. As cheap as you can, and then you put your own little twist on it. That's all we're doing, just giving you ideas. Okay, so we're going to let this cook and we'll be back in a second. Right folks, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read a few the comments from the last video of the spaghetti bolognese. Jake, he says, we used to buy ready meals for quickness until I fell ill with consistent dodgy tummy complaints. I looked into it, and the preservatives, etc., in ready meals can build up in your system and affect it. We stopped buying them, bought fresh ingredients and started cooking from scratch again. It took roughly a month for my system to get back to normal, and I've not bought a ready meal since. This was 8 years ago, and it's also done his bank balance has appreciated it as well. So that is what we're actually aiming for. Frances, she said kids today don't have a cookery lessons like I had. It was all in the afternoon. I had to take money for an egg and took the other ingredients to make a cake, or used to make a pie and make out a pastry which from scratch, puff pastry, and that's it. Grandkids who are now 26, 22 and 18 did cookery lessons. It was to take a crumble mix and a tin of fruit and I had to make a sandwich. She's right, she laughed when she heard that. You take a crumble mix in and how to make a sandwich. If you don't know how to make a sandwich, then
or a crumble, that's even easier than pastry. I've got to admit, I'm no good at pastry. I don't know why, so I cheat and buy it, but I can do a crumble. Yeah,
well, that's another one, you see. If you buy the old pastry, it's ideal, it's easy to do and everything. But if you go through the comments of the spaghetti bolognese one, it's quite amazing how many people have been saying that they've been cooking from fresh for quite a long while now. Quadrex, he's enjoying the videos so much. I used to make good old Quadrex. I used to make bolognese for all my friends from time to time and love this approach. He used to wing it, but I think I made it well, and that's all it is. It's just,
well, let's be honest, the very first cooks didn't have a recipe. They learnt by experimenting.
Well, of course they did. Exactly. I learned to cook. Need Tick. They learned to cook by watching their nan. Instead of butter and sugar, my nan used to address raspberry jam at the end.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that because I've also heard with bolognese it's good to throw in a little bit of Branston pickle.
Yeah.
A tablespoon of Branston pickle.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just
done that once and it is nice.
I mean, chocolate, a little cube of chocolate as well and stuff, isn't it?
And cocoa powder.
Magic or Magique, I don't know. Sorry if I've pronounced your name wrong. And families can't afford to feed their families. Absolute load of rubbish. They are just gambling, smoking, and doing drugs. Not stereotyping there. This is weird because I've got myself on a camera and I've got myself on a camera.
You're not actually saying it.
I'm not actually saying that, but I know what he's saying. Give them cooking lessons like the MP said. We totally agree with that, don't we? There was an MP who said that they should be giving cooking lessons, and I totally agree. whatever you've got, if you've got eggs or anything, you can do an omelette.
Well, even somebody like me who can cook basic foods, I'm always willing to learn new stuff.
Well, I'm
if
always
the same. Give me a few tips and stuff, then great.
Yeah, I enjoy cooking.
It's
absolutely
about
brilliant.
Each other, not criticising each
exactly.
other. And I think people have got to realise that.
So please, people, put your comments down below, your little tips and anything, and people read them and learn from them, and that's how we're going to do this. Yeah, and this carry on cooking series that we're going to do is how this is how it's going to be. We all work together, we all learn together, we all put tips in, and that's just what we want, really.
And so, you know what we're like, we don't take ourselves too seriously, do it?
I don't take myself serious.
I know.
When you look like this, what the fuck do you expect? Right, so the Twoodle's getting in on the game.
The onions, the carrot and the celery have been sitting there for 10 minutes, sweating away nice, a bit like us.
Yeah.
So we had the diced chicken. If you wanted to, you could adjust the amount of chicken that you put in there. You could even use frozen if it's cheaper for you. And then you add half a pint of water, cold water, and then I don't bother dissolving the stock cube in hot water. Because this is going to get hot anyway, I just crumble that.
Now, some people were saying about an OXO cube. Now, we've only used the OXO cubes because that's what we've got.
That's what we've got in, yeah.
That's what we've got. You can buy these. I know Aldi do them and Lidl do the cheaper.
In fact, we prefer them.
Yeah, we do actually prefer them. It's just where...
We've not been to Aldi or Lidl for a while, have we?
No, it's just where you go to buy your OXO cube. If you have to pop up to the garage in the village, then that's where you get it from, and that's what you have to buy at the time. So obviously,
especially saving on fuel. Right, so you bring that to a boil, simmer, whatever you want to call it, and then once it's reached that, you turn it right down, stick the lid on it, and let it sit there simmering away for about 10 minutes or until the chicken's cooked through. So that's the next bit done. So
we're going to leave that then, June, are we? Or is there anything else that we need to show?
I'm only thinking 10 minutes now.
Okay.
That might be a good time to say that as well as the ingredients I've shown you, you are going to need butter and you are going to need flour because we're going to make a sauce.
Yes.
With a roux. But you don't have to do that because the idea is we're going to thicken that sauce up. There's lots of ways you can thicken a sauce. You can even buy thickening granules.
Yes.
I think it's with the gravies, the instant gravies and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you could just mix some corn flour in with cold water, add it to that. Make sure you mix it with cold water first, otherwise it will go lumpy. And then bring it to the boil and it should thicken it. And you keep adding that so you get the desired thickness. You can even, if you want to thicken a sauce, grate in a potato, a raw potato.
Is that one of your mum's old tricks?
I'm not sure where I got that from. I quite often do that to thicken a soup.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, so just a few tips there, but I will show you how to do this.
I mean, people were saying, oh, put a splash of Worcester sauce in and all that, and we totally agree. We do that, but like I said, this is just buying the essentials. Yeah, buying the essentials to cook a meal for the family. So there's nothing stopping you from buying a bottle of Worcester sauce or what's that other one? Can't remember the name of it, but it's really good, like Worcester sauce. So yeah, right, we'll be back in a second.
Soy sauce.
No, you can get one that's like Worcester sauce, but it's a different company.
Oh, right.
And I can't remember the name, but no doubt people will put it in the comments below. So I said I'd be back in a second, and I was back in less than a second. Weren't that right, Junior? Although it seemed about 10 minutes to us.
So that's been cooking for 10 minutes with the lid on, and then I'm going to put the veg in, the peas and the sweet corn, for 5 minutes. So we're going to stick the lid back on, give that a bit of a stir, and leave it for another 5 minutes just to cook the sweet corn's already cooked because it's tinned, but I guess if you had frozen sweet corn or fresh, then you'd need to cook it.
Now this does look a bit watery, but don't forget, we're going to thicken it up, right? Thicken it up.
Thicken it up.
A question for you, June. It's a clean one, not a rude one. And everybody's all disappointed. Could you cook this in a slow cooker?
I don't know, I've never tried to cook it in a slow cooker, but I guess you could. At least to this stage, just sling it all in the slow cooker, but you would need some cooked rice.
Yeah.
No, unless you could cook the rice in the slow cooker. Yeah, maybe you could. Perhaps
Or
put
you
this
could-
in for a couple of hours on high,
Yeah.
like that, and then put the uncooked rice in it for the last hour.
Yeah. Or could you use microwave rice?
Yeah, you could use
but then
microwave rice.
that's beating the cost of the job of beating the cost down.
Well, I don't know, because I bet you could get some cheap stuff. It
Yeah.
depends.
So
I mean,
you could whack all this in a hot tub.
in a hot tub.
The smell house. My bloody mind's working at this moment, June, with what you've got on.
Come on, you've lost the thread.
I've lost the
now.
thread. In a hot pot, cook
Slow
it,
cooker?
slow cooker, and then just thicken it up and then add the rice later on.
Well, yeah, what I'd say is cook it to this stage in the slow cooker. I don't know how long it'd take because I've not done it. And then you've got to add the cooked rice in at the end. So,
Well,
yeah,
we'll talk about that when we get there.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I've not tried it because it's so quick this way.
Yeah,
It just seems pointless having it in a slow cooker.
Yeah.
It's only sort of a half-hour cook.
it is really. But I was just thinking of people when they're at work. Because I've had people saying, ugh, people can't do that when they're at work. Well, we're trying to get round it.
This is a quick one.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to do this when I was at work, when Ginger was little.
Yeah.
Working mum, looking after my elderly mother. I used to come home and do this. It
And
was
I'd finish work at 6 or 7 and I'd have a bowl full when I get here and that was it, weren't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those things that you can just leave to one side and then warm it up again when you need it.
Yeah, so, right, see you in a second. Somebody asked about the thingy the other day,
Yeah,
the board.
Oh, the board.
We made the board out of an old table.
Yep, the air fryer we got from the Swan website,
West side.
and it's the retro range, and the chopping board we made.
Yeah, we recycled, upcycled, whatever
Something
we
like
cycled.
bicycled.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Can you say bye?
oh, I just have done. Right, so that's been simmering away. More than a simmer, really, I guess. For 5 minutes with the sweet corn and peas. What you need to do, we're going to thicken this sauce up. So, I've got a saucepan and colander on the top, and we're going to strain that all through there like that. So we're catching the juices underneath.
Catch your juices.
Yeah. Let's put that to one side for
And
a
there's your
minute.
juices.
Have we got the lid for that's it? It's the height of summer, of course, and we've got flies.
We've got a chicken farm up the road.
We live in the country, don't we? So that's what you're left with.
It's not a very big house in the country though, is it?
No,
Yet.
sadly not. Where's all my saucepans gone?
Oh, I don't fucking know. You got
Oh,
one,
anyway, don't matter. We'll use this one. This is the chip pan. Yeah, we're not proud. So what you need is about a tablespoon of butter. I don't know, I guess. I'm not weighing it. And a tablespoon of plain flour. However, I haven't got any plain flour, so I'm going to use,
Anyway.
well, I'm not opening a new packet just for a tablespoon of flour.
All
So,
right.
I'm going to use self-raising. So what you need to do is melt this butter in a pan until it's bubbling. It won't take very long. This is hard butter straight out of the fridge, so it's going to take a bit longer than it normally would. And people get a bit frightened by this, but what, like
Well,
I
what's it
say,
do? Say boo.
what you can do, rather than doing this, if you can just thicken the sauce with some corn flour. The instructions are on the packet, or some thickening granules. I think it's, I can't remember who does them. I don't know whether it's I think they do them in Morrison's, and I think they do them in Asda, thickening granules. So wait till it's sizzling. You can just hear that sizzling,
Can you hear
and
it?
then
Hold on, I've steamed up.
put a tablespoon of flour in. Turn the heat right down, and then stir that in, and it will make a paste. And then you just leave that on a low hot light, low flame, for about a minute or two. So we'll just watch this because you don't want it to burn. But what you've got to do is cook the taste of the flour out. And people get a bit frightened by this, but So I'm just going to put this in the jug because it'll be easier to...
I'll speed this bit up or do something.
Yeah. I've just put the liquid from the cooking liquid in a jug so it's easier for me to add. And the idea is you can make this sauce as thick or as thin as you like. But it's important to cook the flour in the butter first because otherwise you'll think, ugh, taste the raw flour.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not very nice. But don't walk away from this bit because you could burn it quite easily. Right, so that's been cooking for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. Take it off the light, it's only very low, look.
Look, very, very low.
And then you start adding the liquid a little bit at a time. You might not need to add all the liquid, it depends on personal preference, but I tend to add it all. And then add it in, and then make sure you incorporate it into the... And it all starts to come together, look, like that. And you just keep going a little bit at a time. As it starts to
mix in,
you can, I don't know the proper terms, you can start to be a bit more generous with the water, or the liquid should I say.
I've got grease on me fucking thing.
There you go, and I use a whisk because I find you don't get the lumps like you do if you try.
You get an even mix, don't you?
Yeah.
If you use a spoon or something, it just like rips it, it just rolls it into balls.
So
if you're using a whisk, it does actually...
So you can see I'm adding the water a bit quicker now. It's just that first bit you need to take your time with. And then I'm going to add the rest of that in there. So it's all mixed in. Whoop. Yeah, not the draining board thing off. And then put it back on the ring, the light, turn it up, bring it to the boil.
Now if you've noticed people, I'm trying to do my best not to swear in this.
Why?
I don't know, I just think it's more family orientated.
Is it orientated?
Yes.
We watched something last night, didn't we? Sherwood.
Yes.
With the lovely David Morrissey of the Tremendous Thighs. Or he used to have, although I noticed he's a bit skinnier these days. But anyway, I digress. And that was actually set in Nottingham. And I noticed that they do swear in that, like we do.
They put a fuck in things, don't they?
Yeah. I thought you weren't swearing.
Yeah, you got to do it somehow. I've got to do it, innit?
Yeah, and just keep this going. And so yeah, I think it's a regional thing. I think we just around this area swear a lot.
Yeah, I do. Don't know if you've noticed.
Now to me, I think that's going to need a bit more liquid, but we'll see.
I don't. I think that looks pretty spot on.
Yeah, we've got all that to put back in there, so let it come to the boil. It will do eventually. This is not the best pan, to be fair, but...
No, this was just a cheap pan we bought to...
It's a chip pan.
Yeah.
I use it to cook the dog food in when I've not been organised enough to cook it in the slow cooker. Right, here it comes. It's coming to the boil. And then... Ow! That's hot.
Watch out, June, that's hot.
And if you did find that this was a bit too thick for you, you could just add a splash of boiling water. So, this is where I usually set fire to the tea towel because I've got too close to the... Give it a stir. Yeah, I think that needs a bit more, but we'll see. Every time, because I don't weigh the flour and the butter every time, it's different, so I adjust it. And then chuck your cooked rice in there. Give it a bit of a stir together. And then this is where you taste it and season it as you see fit. Like I say, you could pep it up with a bit of mustard powder or paprika or anything like that. Whatever your personal preference.
Curry.
Yeah, curry powder would work well. A bit of curry powder. Yeah, I think curry powder would work well. Just gonna have a splash more. Excuse the state of our kettle. We live in a hard water area and it's a bit.
It's the Ronnie Pickering of hard water where we live.
And that is pretty much it.
So there you go.
You just let it all warm through, and that is it. And when we have it, we always say,
why don't we have that more often?
Because we always love it.
Yeah.
Ginge loves it.
Yeah, Ginge loves it. So that's to feed a family of 4. That I'd say if you know.
And again, that minus the rice, that'd be a lovely pie.
Yeah, stick it in a pie.
If I've got any left over, I'll make it into a pie.
You always make it into a bloody
I know I bloody do. I know I do.
Oh God, it says that to else. You'll make it into a pie. Yeah, you bloody will.
Yeah, but I won't waste it. So,
Oh dear.
yeah,
I've mentioned Alf Garnett.
Oh, well, let you go the old log and say Margaret Thatcher.
Oh God. I don't think Margaret Thatcher had a fricassee pie.
I bet she did, because she used to do her own cooking.
Well, yeah.
So, you can have a little taste of that, see how we feel with the seasoning.
Hold on then. Oh shit, just walked into the door again. Oh, now I've just banged my head on that fucking...
God.
Now I've swore. Oh. Right, there he is. Up. Oh God, that's nice.
Is it?
Mm.
Do you need any more seasoning or are you?
I don't think so.
Right, we'll leave that then, because we're not going to have that till later. It's far too hot.
Yeah, it's far too hot. So that's it, folks. Come back and see us. Well, you won't have to come back, but she'll still be there. Hopefully, if you ain't buggered off, and see what we think of it. Laters. Right, folks. So we have cooked our dinner. We've waited now. The time is 6:20, and it's time to eat the meal now. Do you want to have a guess on how much the meal for 4 cost? Right, this is a meal that cost for 4. Have we also got the price per serving, or?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay then, folks. Okay then, folks. Before June opens a gob, your guess now how much this cost. Right, Judy baby, can we reveal the price of the mini? What the fuck am I on?
Right, for the whole recipe, it's £3.78.
£3.78 to make 4 portions.
Yeah. Each portion costs 94p.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, you could stretch it a bit further by adding a bit more rice and a bit more veg. But we've got 4 ample portions. Ginger won't be having hers till she comes home, and we've got enough for another another day. We
so
can
we
either
could
either freeze it or stick it in a pie.
Stick it in a fucking pie. Well, sticking it in a pie means it's all right by me. So I've already tasted this over there when Junie had cooked it, but now I'm going to taste it again. Now you're all going to say, it's good anyway. It is good. We've had this many, many times.
Yeah, I mean, it is good. It's like I say, it's not going to knock your socks off with.
I've got no socks on.
Flavour, but it is tasty. It's just nice. It is nice.
To be fair, this is more of a nice winter.
Mm.
It's fucking hot.
Do you want the breakdown of the ingredients?
No, I want my fucking tongue being unblistered. Oh, that hurt. Well, she's looking at me.
Are you ready?
Yes, list of ingredients, please,
right.
people.
2 carrots cost 9p. 150 grams of raw rice was 6p. A large onion was 12p. Half a tin of canned sweet corn, one of the small tins, so it was about 2 ounces.
And
was 40p.
You can get that cheaper on the Just Essentials, but they didn't have any in at the time, so that's so it would have been even less.
The peas were 11p. The celery was 11p. The chicken, obviously the most expensive bit, was £2.89. The stock cubes, salt and pepper, plain flour and butter were all, I didn't count those in the price because you've got those in anyway.
Most people would have had some kind of butter or oil.
Yeah, and I was thinking about the slow cooker thing as well. You could cook it all in the slow cooker and then just add the cooked rice for the last half an hour, I guess. Like I say, it's a quick meal anyway, so all in all about half an hour. So I wouldn't bother doing it in the slow cooker in all fairness, but you can.
You can do. If you're working and you're coming home and you want something ready when you walk through the door, or nearly ready.
Well, the thing with slow cookers, if you've got people coming in all at different times, you've got a warm option on your slow cooker, so you can just keep it warm.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But it's got your 5 a day in, with your carrots and your peas and your sweet corn and your celery and your onions. So you're getting your 5 a day. You get the chicken. I suppose it's up to you what kind of chicken you buy, because somebody actually did say something about the welfare of the animal. And yeah, totally agree with you. But people feeding the families are not probably going to be thinking about that. They've got to feed the families and whatever.
Well, it's just an option. You can make it as cheap or as expensive as you want to.
Yeah.
Or what you can afford.
And I'm not being heartless there. I'm just being truthful and factful that some people are going to be thinking, right, I've got to feed my family, blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah, and that's it. So, this is really nice.
And we'll get another meal out of this easy.
Yeah, we'll get a meal out of this season.
So we're saying it's £3.78, but like I say, there's only 3 of us. This recipe's for 4. The 4th will go into a pie, and that will feed all 3 of us again another day. I know it's a bit of a cliche, stick it in a pie, but it does work.
And what I'll do is with the pie, we'll just I'll just do some chips in the air fryer. I'll just get some potatoes. We don't do none of that oven ready chips, because they've got all kinds of shit on them as well.
And they're expensive.
And they're expensive. You buy a spud, chop it up, cut it into chips, parboil it, bang it in the air fryer. Bit of oil on the.
Well, to be fair, if you haven't got an air fryer, you could just shallow fry them, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Or bake them in the oven. You don't need an air fryer.
I've started doing parboiled potatoes, a bit of dripping or a bit of pork. What's that stuff I use? Pork fat. Oh, I don't know.
Pork dripping.
Pork dripping and beef dripping. That's it. Put it in, bit of salt, bit of smoked paprika, sprinkled all over the chips. Put them in the air fryer. Everybody's happy.
I wonder if you could adapt this for vegetarians by swapping the chicken out for plant-based chicken, or even mushrooms. You could swap that for mushrooms. In fact, it might be alright with mushrooms, but
yeah,
I think this is good. So
that's another one of our carry on cooking episodes, folks. Hope you enjoy it. Please put your tips down below. And remember, it's budget cooking, it's not fucking Gordon Blair. Alright? Laters.